All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Junk Removal Made Simple by the Junk Removal Authority. Today, we're talking about money and how you're going to make money in your junk removal business. And that's through digital marketing with search engine optimization and AdWords. If you're going to be a serious player in junk removal, you got to be doing AdWords. AdWords is expensive. It's extremely expensive if you don't know what you're doing, because you will waste more money on BS calls about garbage schedule, especially over holidays when your garbage company closes. There's people all the time calling, what's your garbage schedule? Are you a dump? Can I bring stuff by and dump it off at your location? My trash got missed today. So on like a daily trash pickup, probably once a month, we get a call from somebody that's irate and just can't understand why they searched on Google for their company's trash schedule and they found our company. And that was before we figured this whole game out. So when we first started, we got calls like that all the time. Junkyards, car parts, you name it, anything halfway related to trash, we got it. And we estimate from the time we opened to the time we really figured it out, which was within the last year, probably somewhere around $200,000 to $300,000 was wasted on bad AdWords management. And we got to blame the AdWords management company, and that was me. So I was figuring everything out, or I was doing it, and we did pretty well. I mean, we built our business on AdWords. That's where all of our initial business came from. That allowed us to grow to be a $2 million a year company. Last year was AdWords, and it's still extremely important now. Now, when I first started, the margin for error was a lot smaller, or it was a lot larger, really. I guess the margin was larger because AdWords wasn't nearly as expensive. The cost per click on AdWords was a tenth of what it is now. So you can get in a lot of trouble with AdWords, or you can have very poor results if you don't know what you're doing. So I hope this video helps. By no means is this video going to make your AdWords campaign bulletproof. Only that can be done over time, while you're wasting some money, unless you go with an AdWords management company that really knows what they're doing. And we'll talk about that in a bit. So, AdWords versus SEO. Traditionally, SEO used to be 80% of your web traffic. What in the world I was writing there, but that was not correct. Here we go. Of traffic. Now, AdWords, if it's run correctly, is 70% of traffic. So we haven't quite had a complete reversal, but we've come close. Now I will tell you, in the case of Junk Doctors, our website, even though we're not a national, even though Junk Doctors isn't national, Junk Removal Authority is, but even though Junk Doctors is not national, our website, in most parts of the country, if you search for junk removal, it's going to pop up at kind of the bottom of the page, on the first page. So we're normally like the 11th result on average. So a lot of the traffic we get is about 50-50, but we've estimated probably 20 to 30% of that web traffic to the Junk Doctor site organically is actually national. And so that's virtually wasted traffic for Junk Doctors. Now, as JRA continues to develop, we plan on actually taking advantage of that national ranking, and with our partners, as we get more and more partners with JRA, is to start actually monetizing that great web position nationally with Junk Doctors into sending business to our JRA partners. So, but it's almost complete reversal, not quite, but almost. 70% of your traffic is now AdWords. That means if you are you're missing the majority of web traffic, you're missing. If you're not doing AdWords, you're not going to find it. There is no way you're going to be a serious player anytime soon in your junk removal market without doing AdWords. If you start and you don't plan on doing AdWords, you're going to be on the truck for many years. And that might be okay with some people, but for those of you that want to build a serious business, be a serious player, You got to be willing to do AdWords. If you're willing to do if you're going to do AdWords, you have to be willing to spend some money. Listen, AdWords is not an expense unless it involves the IRS. If it's the IR and the S, AdWords is an expense through and through. What AdWords really is an investment. So if you do AdWords right, theoretically, the more money you spend on AdWords, the more money that you get in business. And AdWords should be profitable, not only long term. And that's where we were messing for a long time, and it took us forever to figure this out. We were breaking even or losing a little money on AdWords, and we were okay with that. Not when we first started. When we first started, it was profitable. Then it got so expensive, and we were wasting money in several different areas that we've eliminated since. So we were breaking even or even losing a little money on AdWords jobs. We were looking at it as a long-term play, that these customers would come back to us, we do a good job, these customers would come back, and that they would refer other customers to us. Now we're making good money on every AdWords job we do. We're getting more AdWords jobs. And that's because of who we've brought on board to manage our AdWords campaign, which is now available. That same what we've done is we've had them figure out junk removal, junk doctors, and now that's a service we provide to everybody. Everybody can take advantage of it. So you must do it. AdWords is an investment. A scary one at the start, but it is an investment. You first start, AdWords is like a bad stock that you bought. You know, you bought the stock and you first get going, you think it's going to be huge, and all of a sudden it drops by about 50%. You know, and that's like if you're an amateur, if you're an amateur stock investor, and you go in there and you start with AdWords. Or you start with a stock. You feel this is going to be a hot stock. You know this stock through and through. Like when I was a teenager, I bought some stock in Krispy Kreme. I like Krispy Kreme donuts. Krispy Kreme is from North Carolina. It was at $40 at one point. It dropped down to $11. It's got to go back up. I bought that stock, and that thing has hung around $11 to $18 ever since I got it. So I didn't put a whole lot of money in there. I didn't have a lot when I was 18. But that's a perfect example of an amateur getting in there and playing a game and not doing a very good job of it. If you stick with it, you'll probably figure it out. And if you delve into the numbers and really learn it, you'll probably will figure it out. But is that the best use of your time? Whereas if you've got Warren Buffett probably, Warren Buffett's he approaches the stock market in a completely different way than an amateur would. He's able to run the numbers. He knows what works. He only invests in what he understands. And he's also able to buy a large enough chunk, which is big on AdWords. In AdWords, you have to be willing to spend money. So Warren Buffett's able to go in, he's able to buy a large enough chunk of a company, he can actually gain control. So you got all these people that follow Buffett, and they go and they just buy a company because Warren bought it. Well, the problem is just by Warren buying it, it's driven the price up. So, and we're getting off a little bit of a tangent there, but you see what I'm talking about. The difference between between knowing what you're doing and not knowing what you're doing. You're going to waste a lot of money if you don't know what you're doing. This is a start, and I encourage everybody to understand AdWords. I would like you to partner with a company that knows what they're doing, because you're going to spend a lot less money long term, but you definitely need to understand it first. And I know a lot of you are going to just attempt it yourself, and I'm here to provide great information for those of you that are going to do that. All right. If you are going to set a low budget, meaning if you're going to set a budget that you think you're going to hit, what I recommend is lowering your max cost per click. So if, as Confucius say, if budget low, then lower cost per click, which is CPC. I'm going to underline that because that's important. Why are you going to set a low budget and leave your cost per click high? The reason being, if your cost per click is high, you are going to show higher up in the search results. And you're going to need to get more clicks. Well, if you're willing to do that, if you're willing to accept that number of clicks to bring the traffic in, why are you going to turn it off? If that's the strategy you're going to do, then that strategy should be working. It should be profitable. You should have a high budget at that point. So you shouldn't be running anything on AdWords that doesn't make you at least a little bit of money per job. If you are, you need to reevaluate. If you're going to be scared playing the AdWords game, and it's scary, and you're going to set a low budget, low daily budget that you know you're going to hit. Say if you're going to set it at $100 a day, and some of y'all out there are like $50 a day, and you might as well not even be playing if you're $50 a day. But let's say you drop it down to $100 a day. You don't want to be paying $20 per click, or $15 per click, or $10 per click, because that limits your results. So if you don't want to spend more than $100 a day, and that right there is violating something I did right here. That right there is violating. I'll put this as rule 1 as far as advertising. This is a violation of thinking about AdWords being an investment. This is like, here is another. This is actually a great Warren Buffett investment. When Warren Buffett buys a stock, he takes a big chunk. He goes all in. He builds up a huge bank account to $10 billion or whatever, and then he empties the coffers. He throws all $10 billion at that company, which I did see old Warren. Warren and Charlie Munger, they built up a huge chunk right now, and they're trying to find a company to put that money in at the moment. But they put it all in. They go all in. If you determine AdWords is an investment, you need to go all in. It's going to be huge for your business. So, again, don't violate rule number 1. But if you are going to violate rule number 1, lower your cost per click so you still show throughout the entire day. You will get less overall traffic, but the traffic you do get is going to cost you less per click. So you're going to get as many people to your page as if you set a low budget and had a high cost per click and you stop showing after 1 o'clock in the day. And whereas if you set a lower cost per click with the same budget, you show until 7 p.m. during the day. So that's a very important rule right there. If budget low, then lower your cost per click. People spend more time researching on desktop. So what does that mean? That means web real estate is more important on mobile. So where you place on your mobile phone is going to be more important than where you place on your desktop. So for those of you budget conscious who are still thinking of AdWords as an expense rather than an investment, for those of you that are thinking that way, this is a way to save money. Lower your spend, lower your cost per click on desktop, because people are going to do more research. Think about it. If somebody's taking the time to go to the desk, sit down, and pull their computer up and get on their website, they're going to do a bit more research generally. Normally somebody goes to a computer to do research, whereas on your phone, pick up your phone, and let's say I'm looking for a plumbing service. I type in plumbing. A lot of times, the very first company that comes up I might be calling, and maybe not on a plumber, maybe on a plumber unless it's an emergency. Maybe on a plumber you do a bit more research. But junk removal is a convenient service, and it's, people will do a little bit less research. If you can be quick on mobile, if you can pop up towards the top, and if your site is arranged where it's easy for them to call, and you have to have a click to call. So right as soon as your website pulls up, you should have your phone number right where they can just use their thumb and call that particular customer. If you don't, you're going to miss out on business. Okay, you must monitor search terms. This is going to be the most important thing to making sure you're not wasting your ad spend. So on Google AdWords, you need to be daily if not multiple times a day. And that's an advantage of working with JRA, AdWords management. Multiple times a day, somebody's looking at your campaign and making sure you're not wasting money on search terms. And the problem is, you think you have it figured out after you've been monitoring it for a week or two, you don't. All of a sudden, people start searching for something else, or Google changes their algorithm, and before you know it, you're spending hundreds or thousands of dollars on a bogus term that's bringing you absolutely no business at all. So if you're going to do AdWords daily, multiple times a day if possible, you need to be monitoring your search terms and adding negative keywords as possible. Quality score. The lower the quality score, leads to higher CPC. So, if your quality score is an 8 out of 10, you're pretty good. That's a pretty good quality score. If you get to a 6 out of 10 or 4 out of 10 or 2 out of 10 on your quality score, Google penalizes you for that by, I don't know the exact percentage, but 10, 20, 30% per click is not uncommon. For example, if you have your a competitor listed as a search term, you're going to want to watch your max cost per click, because that can be really high because you're going to have a really low quality score because you're not them. So that's one of the things you want to be careful with on your search terms. Keep an eye on your search terms and your keywords. You want a good quality score. Now, how do you get a good quality score? Quality score, part of it's in your ad copy, but the main thing is you have to have a good website. So if your website has a lot of bogus information on it and it doesn't read well to Google, they're going to penalize you on your quality score. If you want a great website, Junk Removal Authority, we do have websites on sale now, $5,000. You visit junkdrs.com, see what our site's like. That's going to be, we replicate that site, we adjust it to your company colors, your company logo, and we make it specific to your geographical area. And $5,000 right now on sale, normally a $10,000 website, or it's included in our business package, which our complete business package takes you from idea to opening day and beyond. Normally a $70,000 value is now on sale at $25,000. So we're just trying to really get these things out of here big time right now. So let us know. The website's great. That $5,000 for that website's great because you're going to go, a cheap, decent website's going to cost you $3,000. So for $2,000 more, you get a kick-ass site that's specific to the junk removal industry, that's been tested, that you know is going to lead to jobs and lead to business. I promise you that difference in $2,000, or if you wind up waiting and you're watching this video later, that difference in $7,000 is going to be made up for within the first few months of your business by the increased amount of jobs you have and by your higher quality scores on your AdWords. So that back on the website, you can set up where you might have good quality scores on your website, and you can set up a great ad that brings people to your page. But again, it's very important. If people don't call and people don't schedule jobs or book online, then you've wasted money. The key on a good AdWords campaign is to pair well with the website. That way, once the AdWords campaign, the quality AdWords campaign, gets to your website, that it's actually going to convert to jobs. We are hesitant, very hesitant. One of the first things we do if somebody approaches us and they want us to manage their AdWords is we look at their website. And we'll be honest with you right up at the start and just be like, we don't, unless you're willing to do your website, why don't you hold off on the AdWords management for now? If you're not willing to spend on both, hold off on the AdWords until we get your site live. And So by the time you tell us, yeah, let's go forward with it, you have a site that normally takes 2 or 3 months for a web guy to build, can be done in weeks. So a lot of times what we'll do is say, let's hold off on AdWords, let's get this site going. If somebody's not willing to put a new website in and we don't believe that it's going to work, we'll tell them, we don't want to manage your campaign. I'm sorry, but we're expensive enough on AdWords that you're just going to be throwing money away. If we get people to your site and it doesn't convert, and then you're going to be getting a line and saying junk removal authority just wasted a bunch of money, AdWords isn't good, or it's going to, maybe you don't get online, maybe you don't complain about junk removal authority, but maybe you say AdWords isn't good, I'm not doing it again, and then that could be the demise of your business. That could lead you to being discouraged because you get slow and going out of business. So your website is super, super important. If you're going to be in the AdWords game, if you're going to be a player, you got to have a great website. Okay. Last thing we'll talk about is ROI. ROI, return on investment. Always know your ROI per job with AdWords. This tool is not done yet, but it will be soon. We're going to, on our website, we will leave a template, a tool where you can, it's an Excel document. It's not live yet. It's an Excel document, and all you'll have to do is input in some basic figures for your job. So you're going to enter in your average job cost. So if your average job cost is $250, you'll enter in that. You're going to enter in all your average expenses, and we break that down. So we're going to list all the expenses of a junk removal company, and then you're going to input your percentage. So for example, a junk doctor's advertising percentage is normally around 15%. Our disposal fees are normally around 8 or 9%. Our fuel expense is generally around 6%. Our labor cost is normally around 40%. So all of that is factored into the Excel database. You go in your profit and loss statement, which you should have a P&L, and you should keep up with it at minimum monthly. I don't even like monthly. I'd like rather see you keeping up with it weekly, and then as you grow, keeping up with it daily. Because as you grow, the margin of error becomes smaller as far as if you're off, if something expensive is off by a percentage point or two, the numbers are a lot higher. You can waste a lot more money when you get larger, whereas when you're smaller, the mistake costs you less money. But anyway, so it'll factor in all that. Then you're going to input in your AdWords cost, and then for whatever time period you're monitoring, and you're going to enter in how many jobs you've gotten from AdWords. Every time a customer calls or when they book online, you should ask how they heard about you. And then if it's Google, then AdWords, then you're going to track that. Now, you'll have some sort of a factor allowing for some SEO traffic, 20 to 30% of your jobs on a mature site, a site that's been around for a couple years. SEO is slow. At minimum 6 months, but more like a year to 2 years. If you're brand new, most of your Google jobs will probably come from AdWords. So if you start this early, then you're going to have a good idea of what your return on investment on AdWords is. If you have a site that actually SEO is a bit better, probably want to figure somewhere around 25%, 20 to 25% of your jobs come from SEO once you start a good AdWords campaign. Okay, so that tool's available. You need to know per job. Is an AdWords job costing me $10 per job, $20 per job, $100 per job? That way you know if you're profitable or not. AdWords should be profitable. I think I might need to take some of that. I think I need to look at this pen as an investment rather than an expense here and actually get a decent one, that and a big eraser. But anyway, AdWords is profitable. If it is not, you got a problem. You're not doing something right. You need to be profiting a decent amount per job on AdWords. Now, it is a long-term play. So, obviously, repeat business and referral business, you lose that advertising cost. This can be very high, but you need to make sure it's profitable. If it's not profitable, if you're not making a decent little bit of money after paying your guys and all expenses and factoring in the time it took for you to take that call, your time to take the call to book the job, there should be an administrative fee. You need to have, part of this ROI calculator will have automobile expense fees. So, we've got a mileage rate that typically your maintenance is going to cost. All that's going to factor in to your ROI. Always know your numbers in business and always know your return on investment on AdWords. If just kind of wrap everything up. I think this is awesome information. I wish somebody would have been around to have talked about this when I started. There's a few things I just want to drive home, and I know a lot of you probably are about to leave the site right now as I wrap everything up. Please subscribe to this channel and follow the stuff. We're going to be putting out a lot more videos than we have been. We're getting things in place where I'm turning over a lot of my day-to-day tasks with junk doctors, some of the stuff I have, where I can focus on JRA and then just 100% on sales and have everything else covered for the most part. So, what I want to reiterate, rule number one is what? Rule number one, AdWords is an investment unless you're talking to the IRS. And the IRS is a damn expense. Don't be taxing me on my expenses. But as far as running your business, AdWords is an investment. And do AdWords like Warren Buffett does stocks. Empty your coffers. Get it right. Get your knowledge right. Understand what you're doing. Research the hell out of that company. Like Buffett, he researches the hell out of that stock. He knows that's the company he needs to be in. And once he's certain, he empties his coffers into that company. Once you're certain your AdWords is right, empty your coffers. Because what's going to happen is when you empty your coffers, more is going to come back on the other end, and you're going to have to get some more damn coffers, some larger coffers, because it's going to blow up your bank account. So, AdWords is an investment, not an expense. One thing that anybody that's watched any of my videos, I've always said, don't think cheap, and it's hard. I used to be so damn cheap, I squeaked. Or so damn tight, I squeaked. But if you think cheap on your expense end, you're going to think cheap on your income end. There's tons of money out there, but you got to be willing to spend money to make money. And it all just comes back to, are you content? Are you happy staying on the truck all the time? Or do you want to build a bona fide business, a business that's going to provide you flexibility to not be on the truck, to go to your kids' soccer games or baseball games or basketball games, to go on a vacation, a week-long vacation. And when you go on that vacation, can you put your phone away and not have to screw around with it, or you have to be grabbing your calls all the time? You need to be working every day, even on vacation. I'm working. But, I've got freedom in there. I have it where I don't get very many calls. If I get an important call, I'm taking it, but my phone really doesn't ring much when I'm on vacation because everything's in place. I have a bona fide, strong business. I want everybody to have the freedom. I want everybody to enjoy the freedom I've had on owning junk doctors. And the only way you're going to do that is think of it like a business. Think of yourself like a businessman, not a garbage man. I joke around, actually, when I introduce myself as a garbage man. But nothing wrong with being a garbage man either, but people laugh at me because, how I'm dressed and everything like that. But anyway, if you think of this as a business, it's going to be great for you. If not, you can make good money on the truck. You really can. But you don't have a business, you wind up owning your job, and generally after time you figure out your current boss, is a hell of a lot worse than your last boss, and you have no vacation time. Again, this is Junk Removal Made Simple by the Junk Removal Authority, junkremovalauthority.com. You can email me, lee@junkdrs.com. Our phone number is 919-466-9322. I'm willing to answer any questions anybody has at all, any time of day. Give us a call, and look forward to hearing from everybody. Thanks.